Namaskaram. Bhushans Academy of Performing Arts and Visual Presentation welcomes you all for today's Vishwa Nruthya Bhushana festival online happening on our Facebook page, Vishwa Nruthya Bhushana. Every day there is an acclaimed artist or a celebrity couple or organizers coming over this platform and sharing their journey with all of you. Today we have this wonderful, accomplished, stalwarts, iconic couple, Padma Bhushan, Sri.V.P. Dhananjayan and Padma Bhushan, Smt.Shanta Dhanajayans. ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ, ಭೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರದರ್ಶಕ ಕಲೆಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ದೃಶ್ಯ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತಿ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನದಂತೆ ಆಗಸ್ಟ್ 10ನೇ ತಾರೀಕಿನಿಂದ ಸತತವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಒಬ್ಬ ದಿಗ್ಗಜರನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಕರೆತರುತ್ತಾ ಅವರ ಮನದಾಳದ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನ, ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಈ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿನ ಸೇವೆ ಅಥವಾ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಸಾಧನೆಯನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಈ ದಿನ ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಖ್ಯಾತಿಯ ತುಂಬಾ ಅದ್ಭುತ ಕಲಾವಿದ ದಂಪತಿಗಳಾದಂತಹ ಪದ್ಮಭೂಷಣ ಶ್ರೀಯುತ v.p. ಧನಂಜಯನ್ ಜಿ ಮತ್ತು ಪದ್ಮಭೂಷಣ ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಶಾಂತಾ ಧನಂಜಯ್, ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಇವರನ್ನ ಧನಂಜಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಗುರುತಿಸ್ಕೋತಾರೆ. ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಈ ದಿನ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಂಜೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರನ್ನ ನಾವು ಈ ವೇದಿಕೆಗೆ ಬರಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಅವರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೆಲವು ಸಾಲುಗಳನ್ನ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋತೀನಿ. Dhananjayan ji was born into Malayali Puduvai family on 17th April 1939 in Payyanur, Kerala, Kannur district. He was born into a family with 8 children struggling to make ends meet. When a chance meeting with Kathakali maestro Guru Chandu Panikar of Kalakshetra made his father decide, purely on instinct, to send his son V. Balagopalan to Kalakshetra under his tutelage. Dhananjayan joined Kalakshetra on 5th October 1953 and was learning male dance under Rukmini and was a leading male dancer under Rukmini Devi Arundelji from 55 to 67. He graduated from Kalakshetra with postgraduate diploma in dance and Kathakali with distinction and also holds a BA in economics and politics. Shanta Dhananjayan ji was born on 12th of August, the same day as I was born. Years different, of course, 1943, into a Malayali Nair family in Malaysia and traces her ancestry back to Kerala, from where her family migrated to Malaysia. She was a child prodigy, and by the time she was 3, her parents were convinced that Shanta would be a dancer. They found in her an inborn response to dance and joy of movement and decided to send her to India for her education. And she was a leading female dancer at Kalakshetra from 1955 to 1968. And Dhananjayans left Kalakshetra in the late 1960s to build a career on their own. During that time, only the wealthy and aristocrats could send their children and spend on their children who dominated the dance scene in Chennai. He has got several wonderful awards. They have got several wonderful awards to their credit. Pandit Ravi Shankar's Magnum Opus Ghanashyam and National Institute of Chakra. These are the productions. I'm so sorry. These are the productions, and they run a wonderful academy called as Bharatnatyam. They wrote dance school Bharatnatyam in 1968 in Adyar, Chennai. It began with a handful of students, and today a premier academy of dance and music with several hundreds of students and a repertoire fashioned out of his own students and graduates. And of course, they also run another institution called as Bhaskara, and they've received innumerable honors from different organizations and governments across the world. One of the prominents is Padma Bhushan from Government of India in 2009, Nritya Ratnakara, Cleveland Aradhana, USA 2009, a doctorate from Wales University 2009, Live Magazine Achievement Award, Ohio State Academy Award in 1997 for the best theatrical production of the year for Jungle Book dance choreography for Ohio Ballet Company, plaque of honor awarded by the government of Ohio of State for excellent community service and international outstanding through art 1996, Sangeet Natak Academy Award, Government of India 1994, Kerala Sangeet Natak Academy Fellowship, Kalai Mahamani, Herald Sangeet Sammelan, Sursingar Samsad Mumbai Nritya Vilas, Munchi Centenary. Oh my God, the list goes endless. And they are such inspirational, iconic couple. And I don't think we should waste our time. Rather, we should welcome this iconic couple. I welcome Dhananjay Mama and Shanta Mami to the show. Namaskaram, sir and ma'am. It's indeed an honor to.
Ashirvadam to all of you.
It's actually so nice seeing both of you here, and I cannot express how happy we are to have both of you here sitting right in front of us. Thank you so much, Mami, and thank you so much for consenting and coming for this show. Thank you so much.
It is indeed a pleasure, and of course, it is like as couple dancers, we always look up to you. We have always looked up to you for the rich source of inspiration, because dance is such a difficult part.
No, you are the first couple dancers.
First couple dancers,
anybody's mind whenever they say couple dancers. I think we cannot think of anybody else apart from Dhanajayans.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We are very happy to say both of you, couple dancers, continuing the legacy of the couple dancers.
Thank you, thank you.
You are certainly, I think, our role model. So we look up to you always.
Because we are also blessed with two sons, like you have been blessed with two sons. So probably somewhere, we need to walk a long distance to even measure 1/4 or 1/10. I don't know how much
what you've
achieved. But this is.
God bless you.
Thank you.
To start with, of course, it is mentioned everywhere. You would have said 1,000 times, but still, Dhananjay Mama, how did you think that you should be a dancer first? Then I'll come back to Shanta Mami.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I never thought I would be a dancer. Not an inkling about it, because it's all happened providence. And Guru Chandapanikar chose me to take to Kalakshetra. That's how my Natya journey started. At that time, I did not know what is Bharatnatyam, except seeing some Kathakali performances in the village. Otherwise, the Kathakali and Autumn-Tullan, all the Kerala art forms. Occasionally, those days, the schools used to present them in the 50s and 40s and 50s. At that time, we just seen that, but I never thought this is such a divine thing, and I never thought that I would plunge into this great sagaram, Natya sagaram. In Shanta's case, it is different.
I was one who always wanted to dance from the time I was born, I think. Just like that, music moved me from the time I was young. And of course, my parents, sensed my ambition, and they thought it's best to send me to India, especially to Kerala, to my grandparents. And I had my initial training there, but not in structured dance form. From there, they decided that I should be sent to a school where they would definitely teach Natya, in complete, as a complete course. So I was lucky enough to come to Kalakshetra. I was actually destined to go to Shantiniketan. That's what they had decided earlier. But then I was too young. I was only 8 years old, 7 + 8, yeah. And then someone said, why are you sending such a young kid to all the way to Shantiniketan? There is this institution called Kalakshetra in Madras at that time. So I landed in Madras, and I was lucky.
That is destiny, because she has to meet me. That's why she is.
I came 1 year earlier.
Senior.
I was there in 1952, just 8+, and I met him, of course, the next year when he entered. Then the rest is history.
That's in short.
But then I'm sure you would have told about this journey of yours many times in many channels. But then Was it love at first sight from, I'm sure both of you met at the first year also. Yeah, probably your classmates or senior juniors?
No, we were classmates. We just 1 year apart,
Classmates.
so there is no difference. We were in the same class.
Okay.
Who proposed whom, Mummy?
Sorry?
Who proposed whom? Who proposed to whom?
No, I'll tell you. We'll come to that.
Okay.
It's not
No,
not love at first sight for me. I was too young to think
For
about that.
her, it was not love at the first sight. But for me, it was. I think.
Probably, yes.
Love at first sight.
And of course, proposal, whatever, everything came from that side. I was too shy, too modest, too, afraid even to think about all that. I thought, no, this is bad for me to even think about. So
see, we both matched there.
Are you the same way? You are? So it really
It's the same story.
It took a long time for him to realize,
That she really loved me.
I really loved him. Because I wouldn't talk about it, I wouldn't show it. So there was a lot of, give and take kind of thing happening between us. But then I played it very cool. I didn't want to, disappoint him or tell him and make him feel.
Make it short. Of course, she was the first girl I met in Kalakshetra. When I arrived from a remote village, Payanur, Kerala, when Ashan Chandupanikar was taking both me and my friend Balagopal, who is no more, to Rukmini Devi's house. On the way in the Theosophical Gardens, Shanta was playing with her friends, just like Rama meeting Sita in the Ayodhya Gardens. In that Theosophical Gardens, she was introduced to us by Ashan, and Ashan told her to look after these boys. And of course, Shanta...
Because they only knew Malayalam. They came from a village and they only knew Malayalam. They couldn't talk in... of course, those days we never talked in English. Tamil was not known. So I had to take care of, whatever they wanted. I had to translate.
Translate,
yeah.
From Tamil to Malayalam. So that's how everything started developing. That's the first meeting. It is exactly like Rama meeting Sita in the Ayodhya Gardens. So,
that is such a wonderful thing to recollect. I'm sure this is what inspires me. You have said it in so many books. There is a book also which has come out.
Yes.
There's many people who have used it probably in movies. Inspirational story. But then this journey, as when you started as dancers and when you graduated, when you were dancing as couple even in Kalakshetra, were you paired any time? Like
yes.
he as Rama and you as Sita?
Rama Sita, we had done. That was a very difficult time, Sita Swayamvaram. And he has to hold my
little later, before that, when Sharda teacher, Sharda Hoffman, she produced a puppet show, Ramayanam, just as a predecessor to the Sita Swayamvaram of the Valmiki Ramayanam by Atte. In that, I was cast as Rama. I was just a novice, just 1 year novice, and we had to move like a puppet. And in that dance drama, I was paired with Padmini, C.P. Ramaswamy Iyer's granddaughter, Padmini. Very chubby, very nice, very school girl. She was my first Sita. And when Ramayana was produced by Atte Sita Swayamvaram in 1955, Madanapalli Uma, I think she is somewhere in Bangalore today, she was the first Sita. She was a senior artist there. I was much junior and she was very senior, but she was looking very charming and very petite. So she was Sita and I was Rama. And then Lakshmana, Balagopal was Lakshmana, and Shanta in that production was doing Shanta along with the great singer M.S. Ramadevi. both of them doing Lava and Kusha in Sita Swayamvaram, singing stars. Because Atte asked them, both of them, to sing the Tapaswadhyaya Niratam Tavasi Bhagvidamaram, that Ramayana opening slokas. They had to sing and do the
And dance, of course.
dance. So they were castless. So they were just young, 9-year, 10-year-old, and they sang and they stole the show in Sita Swayamvaram, opening the Sita Swayamvaram. That's how. Then later on, when Rama left, Uma left, Rama, the MS Rama Devi, the same Rama Devi was my second Sita in Kalakshetra.
She left.
And I always used to say she was the best Sita among all the other Sitas. Later on, of course, Shanta becomes my Sita. And also, Krishnamani was also, when
Later.
Shanta left Kalakshetra for a small period back to Malaysia, at that period, Krishnamani started doing Sita. That's how Krishnamani started doing the main roles only after Shanta left, and she became my favorite Sita all along.
Sita.
And also, in the, I have to say that, and the last, that is Sita, Haranam Sita, Kala Ramesh was my Sita. So I have been all through doing Sabari Moksha. All through Rama's role on it. Atte didn't give me any other characters. Unlike Balagopal, who had the fortune of doing so many characters.
So
That's how the Ramayana series.
Now the Rama was blessed to have so many Sitas in one Ramayana. Imagine, and he has the in the Kalatale Solla audacity to tell in front of the real Sita that had so many Sitas before. How would you?
Yeah, tell me.
Would you tease him sometime when he says, Anda Sita irkalam irundhathu, inda Sita irkalam irundhathu appo ninge eppavadu, will you say, wait.
I didn't. I should have.
The best Sita. You're the best Sita for him.
Yeah.
I became the best Sita.
Nice.
It was very difficult for me because, as I said, I was bottling up all my feelings. I felt very bad to show any interest in him. And I was very conscious about my teachers who were surrounded, who were also part of the show. Supposing, they say something when I look at him or when I hold his hand, I didn't even want to do the role of Sita. There was a time when I just didn't. I thought, my God, I was so tensed. And he will always say, sit properly, come closer, hold my hand. I'm so scared. So, those days, it was like that. I was very conscious about all that. So, I guess I just gave him some time to, he was not sure. Is she really interested in me or not? Once in a while, he'll send word with my friends, like she will carry the message. Say, why like that? He's very upset. Why don't you talk to him? Things like that. Suddenly, talking to the Lord kind of thing happening. All that is nice when you think about all those days,
Yeah, very nice to remember all this.
But see, the romance of those days to romance of today, it is a lot. Innik vande SMS kalo, messages podla, WhatsApp messages, video calls, ella, what are you doing here? And the kalathil one small peep, or when you go from the classroom, you just take a peep and go back. That itself would have, made his day the entire day. Or one smile and rolled your eyes. Andamari edavadu instances irka?
Oh yes, plenty. He's the one who will always, he'll be there looking, and then he will say, why don't you talk to me? Come there, or send a message. I'll never go. And then he'll be very upset. He'll say, see, she doesn't like me, so that's why because I'm not good enough. Probably I'm not rich enough. That is why she doesn't like me.
All that.
So I did give him a bit of a time, for him to understand me, right? I played it very cool.
But anyway,
What did anybody play Cupid in your story?
Did anyone?
Did anybody play Cupid in your story? Manmata, somebody was there.
Oh yes, many friends. There were too many Cupids because we lived in the hostel. All my friends and his friends, they all knew about us. So there was constant, carrying a message or trying to tell me, oh, he's pining for you. Why don't you talk to him or go to him and carry the message that I am saying? It did happen. It was so natural that I had many Cupids.
But I'm sure you already said that once he proposed to you and you were like knowing that you will get, was there marriage on the cards, or was like, how will you convince your parents? How will you take to the next level? On the phase, how was it?
Till the last moment, I think she didn't give any word to me or anything. I was very apprehensive about her marrying me because she has to go back to Malaysia after her graduation. Then it was talk of the town that Shanta is not going to come back and Dhananjayan is left alone. And so at that time, there are a lot of other girls who are trying to entice me, but I was strong. But one thing Shanta said before going, he said, I will come back. That's all. But he didn't say she's going to marry me or anything. I'll come back. That's all. So with that assurance, I've been keeping very steady-minded. But I was also a very disciplined person and very strict. And even though girls liked me, I always kept a distance. They were a little afraid of me. Actually, if you ask people like Savitri, Kala, and all these people, they will tell you the stories that I was a very, very disciplined person. I like girls to be with a little modesty and all that, Coming from a village, a traditional household in Kerala, I wanted girls to behave well, not to indulge in any kind of ragging or any kind of loud laughing and things like that. I will reprimand them. And so whenever they see me, they used to be very controlled and they respected me as an elder brother. So that I know. But even though some people may have some soft corner for me and try to express, but I didn't allow that. So in my case,
he was truly a Rama. Truly Sri Rama.
Okamata, Okabana, Okapatri.
That is so sweet. That is so sweet. Now you said there were many. Now after she went back to Malaysia, she said she'll come back. Na திரும்பி வரேன் ஒரு பாட்டு பாடி போகவில்லை அப்படி திரும்பி வரேன்னு சொல்லிட்டா வந்தா. But how did you? Who took the initiative to convince and talk to your parents? Did you people talk to your respective parents, or was it like Mama arranged? Yeah, who took?
For me, there was no problem because my family, everybody, they know they are convinced that whatever decision I take is though I am the middle son, but I was like the eldest, and everybody, anything they consulted me also, because I was looking after the family much more than the other brothers and sisters. So they respected my words, and they somehow they had the feeling that I take the right decisions. From childhood itself, I had the responsibility of looking after my house when my father was away in other villages teaching. He was a school teacher. So even at the age of 8, I had the responsibility of looking after the family needs. Actually, my father would give me the money, and I have to judiciously control the economy of the house. So like that, I was very responsible from childhood. So they never indulge in any. When I was sent to Kalakshetra, they said, okay, that's fine. So for Shanta, there was, so she will tell you the story, how her marriage was proposal were coming for her.
When I went back to Malaysia for a couple of years, I was away because my parents wanted me to be with them. I was away from them since I was 5 years old. So they said, why don't you come and live with us, spend some time before you get settled. So I was with them, and that was the time when a lot of proposals started to come. And then at one particular moment, there was somebody who was trying to fix this proposal, and then I became a little jittery. I was standing there, I just ran away from the spot. Then my mother followed me. Then she said, and then I was crying. And she said, why are you crying? So I just didn't say. Then you know what? Quietly she said, I know why you're crying. You're thinking of Dhananjayan. She said, one word. You're thinking of Dhananjayan. I didn't even know whether she knew, that I had that kind of feeling for Dhananjayan. So she said, you're thinking of Dhananjayan, aren't you? That's why you're crying. Then she gave me a big lecture like a Bhagavad Gita thing. She said, I appreciate, I know what the feeling is like. And she gave me a lot of advices. She said, if you think this is true love, and if you can take it on successfully, I will help you. Go ahead. And then she, the usual motherly advices that one gets. She only thing is make sure he has a lot of responsibility at home, and your life is not going to be
easy
bed of roses. You have to be careful. If you can't take care of yourself and stand on your own feet, it's your destiny. Take and then do it. Go ahead. I'll talk to father, and then let's see. So everything, it just ended there. And later on, when Kalakshetra came to Singapore and Malaysia on a tour as a group, I was part of the group. Rukmini Amma asked me to join them. And that gave an excuse for my father to meet Sir.
That was an opportunity.
That was an opportunity. So my father wanted to meet him, talk to him, just get to know him and know what it's all about. And then he was so convinced, he said, go ahead. That's it. So I had no...
I was afraid to face her father because she is a very tough-looking guy.
He was
very soft-hearted.
He looked very, like that. He looked like a hard disciplinarian, but he is soft, but externally he will look very strong. So he wasn't sure how my father would react, but my father was so convinced. He said, fantastic, just go ahead, I will help you. So I think I was so lucky.
It's like there's a Tamil novelist, Sujata, who wrote a story, Shikkal Illada Kadal.
No thanks, no sickle. I understood. No more this.
No thanks.
Yes.
Marriage.
Only thing now, during people here were not sure. They thought, okay, she has left him and gone. She is going to get married to some rich guy there. The father has already looked for someone. This kind of talk. And this fellow is left like that. What is this? That there's a lot of talks like that, loose talk happening. So this, like, everybody woke up, said, oh my God. So it was like a shock to many people who thought this is not going to happen. Anyway.
I'm sure you would have got negative remarks and positive remarks at that time. When you meet them post-marriage, how was the reaction? Or did they come up and say, oh, did somebody blurt out that way?
Yes. That positive, negative forces were always there.
But then we had more people who were very close to us, all my friends, they're always very happy and always very encouraging. So, yes.
We have several people watching us, like Savitri auntie is watching us, Savitri Jagannath Rao auntie. There is
among them who was there to see all our love affairs.
Love
happening.
buffets.
Yes. And Tulsi Ramachandra ji from Mysore is watching. Chirantana Davangere, Padmaja Venkatesh ji is watching. Suparna Raju, so many of the Manjula Amaresh ji is watching. Guru Prasad ji is watching. So may thank you all of you for watching. It is like Tulsi Ramachandra aunty is watching. Yeah. So Mama, now you married and you were settled, like, was there any pressure? Because when you started up your career and you were also one of the prominent, you said you were the first guy to take care of your family also. You know, you're a responsible man, you have to take care of your family. Then were they okay with the fact that when you wanted to pursue dancing on a professional way, were they okay with it?
Yes, my father was for it. That's why he sent me. There was no problem at all. So absolutely, when we come to Kalakshetra, plunge into the art world, naturally people will know this is going to be my profession. But at that time, nobody thought about the money making and all that. It was at that time, yes, have some profession and get some money and support the family and live happily. At that time, our needs were very, very limited. So we didn't think about making a large amount of money or anything like that. In Kalakshetra also, until we became teaching staff, there was absolutely no money at all. So I just carried on like that. It was very difficult for our family at home. But when I started my first salary, the first thing what I do is 50% of the salary. At that time, the salary was very, very limited, 130 rupees in 1963. So half of it will go to my house immediately.
To Kerala.
Kerala.
You'll have to send it.
So because I have a large family, very joint family, where my sisters, sons, everybody else. So I will just close my eyes and send 50% to, and with the next 50% we have to pay to the hostel and room rent and all that in Kalakshetra, and then hardly we had any money at all in the hand. But also when we got married and started our family, and Shanta's salary also added, and both of us together we would have got probably about 200 rupees at that time, and
about 300
maybe. Yes, and then unfortunately we have to pay a huge amount of rent to the staff quarters, about 40 to 60 rupees rent. And then Shanta was so nice that when she allowed me to send half or 50% of our salary to Payyanur home. So she was so adjustive. That's how we are able to maintain a very happy family, understanding each other. That's very essential for a happy family.
I want to tell you something here. You know, this is prior to the marriage and when we were students, once in a while, we'll be taken out to see a movie, like a, well-made English movie like Ivanhoe or Living Desert or something like that. And we'll have to, yes, Ben-Hur also. We have to chip in a little bit, like 2 rupees per person, okay, for the ticket. And this man won't have any money. So on several occasions, I have paid for him 2 rupees. I've given him 2 rupees for ticket on several occasions. So that is the way it used to be.
Now, both myself and Balagopal, we had to remain in the hostel when all these other inmates would be going somewhere outside, and they know that we can't afford any excursion or any outing and all that. So the girls, some of them used to chip in and take both of us, both of me and Balagopal. So for film and all that, quietly Shanta will buy my ticket. That's how we got it.
So I can ask him for all those. Wow. Give me my 2 rupees back.
With interest.
What? Like 65 years? Oh. I can by now.
ஒரு ஒட்டியானமே பண்ணிடலாம், வைரத்தோட ஒட்டியானமே போட்டுடலாம்.
Compliment to Shanta, she is not jewelry and getting things like that. So it was easy for our, with the limited amount of income, we were able to lead a very happy family because of the understanding, mutual understanding. That's what we should like to advise the young couples. Money is nothing, but proper understanding each other's mentality.
See, Anjana, they're saying money is nothing. So understanding the husband is more important.
Yes,
So love me, give me all your money. Don't bother to ask it back. இல்லையா மாமி? லைக் கொடுத்ததெல்லாம் வந்து கணக்கோட போட்டு வெட்டியோட கொடுக்கூடாதுன்னு கேட்க கூடாது. கொடுத்துட்ட உடனே ஆம்பளை சோத்து எடுத்துடுப்பா, யூ டேக் இட்னு கொடுக்கணும் இல்லையா? மை மணி இஸ் மை மணி, யுவர் மணி இஸ் ஆல்சோ மை மணின்னு சொல்லக்கூடாது.
Then automatically you come back, not to worry.
Yes.
True, very true. Very true.
When you started performing, was it after marriage? Was there any compulsion from Dhananjay Mama's outside, like the Engloda Veetu Marumagal, you shouldn't dance or don't dance, don't dance with others? And the
Absolutely. They know we are together. We are both artists, and my father was a very liberal man from the beginning.
Always encouraged. Always was very happy to see us dancing and.
Because the society of those days was similar, that it was a more of male dominated society. It was a male dominated society. So like we talk about equality, we talk about freedom, right of speech, we say equal. But then those days when dance was considered a very taboo aspect in respectable families, of course, Attai always started Kalakshitra for those one of the reasons. But then those days when you actually started as couple dancers, probably you were the first couple dancers. Till then nobody was there, and
nobody. But then people like I tell you, people like Natraj Sakuntala and of course Uday Shankar Amla ji and Gopinath and Tangamani. They were couple dancers, but they're not doing Bharatnatyam as such. As Bharatnatyam couple dancer, I think probably we are the first that also to come out of Kalakshetra and establish as a couple Bharatnatyam. I think we have the starting such a movement. So later on, of course, people like you all have come now. So we were the Munnadigal.
How do you feel being the Munnadigar of couple dances, couple scene?
Very good, because we always see Nataraja and Parvati Nataraja like that. So the concept of male dancer, couple dancers are in the iconography or all. So we want to establish something like that. So Kalakshetra definitely helped us to have a good training, and also we were able to assimilate. We were able to understand each other's style very well and coordinate very well without any clash. We were able to do and bring in a couple Bharatanatyam performances. And now very in the initial stage, I had to face a lot of difficulties because those days, men dancers were not recognized, and people did not accept them as performers. The teachers, of course, they were teachers, but not as performers. But I broke the ice, and when I started performing, people liked my dancing because, of course, Kalakshetra style, Kalakshetra training, Rukmini Devi's conception of male dancer and all that. I was able to bring that out of Kalakshetra. Otherwise, everything was confined to the four walls of Kalakshetra, only the art festival and Kalakshetra. But outside people, many people, the general population did not know the value of or the what potential a male dancer has. They did not. Only after seeing me, they started understanding, oh, there is a potential, and they can be understood. They can be, their dance can be enjoyed, and they can also make it a profession. My contention from the beginning was, and very, very vehemently stick to professionalism. And that's what I always said. This is a profession for me, and I have to be paid. So those days, people used to little side me saying I am very commercial, because when I asked my professional fees, they used to see the kind of problem. Art is for art's sake, for not for money. That's all nonsense for me. But I never asked for free. From the beginning, even though I wanted money at that time, but I stick to my principles, and to bring a professionalism for the male dancers, I stood very, very steady and established that these male dancers have to be, a dancer has to be paid well.
Very true, very true.
Yes, that has been my motto, that has been my principle, and then I never left it, and I have never encouraged people paying and performing for the performance from the beginning. And when we started as duo, after leaving Kalakshetra, only we started doing Bharatnatyam duo performances. And when Bharata Kalanjali started, we slowly started establishing, and people started recognizing our merit. And every opportunity came only because of our merit. And we have no influence whatsoever. Nobody, we never had any backing. And we have, of course, we didn't have a big bag, or to say big rich family to support us, or anything. Sheer hard work and sheer merit, and through merit, hard work and merit, we got our livelihood. And opportunities came. And when the merit is recognized, automatically that comes out. That's how.
In spite of you being in the streamline, in spite of you being in the front line for so many years, and authoritatively ruling the dance world, how come all these sabhas started expecting the artist should pay them rather than sabha paying the artist? It was you said you started this thing, but today I'm sure the trend, how it goes. Like, you want the prize kepa. How do you feel about this?
Because there was one revolution where dancers were strictly against paying and performing. So how right is it to pay and perform?
It's not. It's absolutely wrong. That's why I said from the beginning I must stick to that. And even if I didn't allow any of my students to pay and perform. That's why many of our students did not get sabha performances 2 days. See, sabhas also, I'll tell you, those days they used to pay something, or whoever it is, a professional. Those days there are very few professionals. Only they sustained. They made their sabhas strong because of professionals like Kamala Lakshman, Vaijayantimala, Padmini, Ragini, and later on. A lot of other people started coming in, and most of the female dancers, they were all coming from the affluent families. So they used the Bharatnatyam or their art to project their personality, and many of them, they were not demanding any fees for their performances. Their father and their people were able to, family were able to support them. So there were some upcoming good, excellent dancers paying and performing. That got into the system of the sabha culture, and that is how the pay and perform things came afterwards. So because now, of course, as you know, supply is more than demand. A lot of people are there, and many of them, 90% of them, are from affluent families, and they use their art to project them. They are not projecting their art, but they are projecting themselves, using the art as a medium to project themselves. So they don't want money. But it's for us, it was not like that. It was, I say, categorically emphasize that this is a profession, this has to be paid. And Sabhas, initially, Sabhas did not give me any performances because I demanded good money. So very professional fees. So they did not. So I made my Sambadhyam from other performances, like we used to perform in Kalyanam, wedding, conferences, schools, and tourism promotion. I had done a lot of tourism for tourist promotion. We have performed a lot. Nobody has ever done what we must have done, because tourism promotion in Tamil Nadu, we started it and we did a lot. And there was time when we performed 5 months continuously in a hotel, in Connemara Hotel, Natya, and the hall was called Natya Mandapa, and we did Bharatnatyam for 5 months continuously without a break even. So at that time we were faced criticism because I'm doing for Kalyana Kacheri, I'm doing in the hotel and all that. But we did the correct systematic classical Bharatanatyam, we didn't dilute it, and lecture demonstrations were given to educate the people coming from abroad as well as national tourists as well as foreign tourists. So we were part of the tourism promotion in our country, and the Government of India Tourism Department has taken as models. And in fact, Shanta modeled for a big campaign all over the world for tourism India, and it was called a multi-vision picture. Shanta was selected to model for it, and the Air India and Government of India Tourism Department. And that all gave us a lot of popularity, opportunity, and also brought us a lot of money. We didn't do it free. So, and this has become a trend. Then later on, people, our contemporaries also started demanding money. They were also, because we were paid, they were also paid. So they also took it as a profession. They also started getting money. So I'll tell, if at all, some people, professional people in our contemporary period, if they are getting a good payment now, it is because of us, because of me. And I was criticized for it. And many people, even in my colleagues, also some of them also criticized. I'm very money-minded. I was not. Actually, from our school, our children, our students, we never earned any money from teaching. We earned all our, whatever we have earned, it is from our performances all over the world. We got opportunities. And
that's a wonderful revelation, yes.
So, and from the teaching, we never had any income. It was just sustained. We used to be in a rental house before we built this the house, rental house, the rent, and mind you, at that time people did not know that 50% of our students were free students. I taught a lot of people free of charge because many people came from Kerala, and most of them, 99% of them are from poor family like me. So I know my situation. So I gave them free tuitions, but people did not know this. At that time, people criticized us, criticized me, not her. I mean, criticized me. Even some papers said my nickname was Mahamani because I talk about money, because I talk about professionalism. But in this, so okay, so I didn't mind it. I said,
I know how they would have made it. How they would have made the caption now.
Yes. No, later people.
But what was your reaction? What was your reaction to so much criticism that time?
I didn't mind it. I said, okay, you criticize.
Sthita Prajna, sir. he became
like so my colleagues, my alma mater, Kalachatra, all criticized me for so many things, but I didn't mind. I stood by because of I stood like that. Now a lot of people have good career, and some of them are professionals. They are getting money, even payment. At that time, one very unfortunate thing happened was a lot of foreign students come to us. No other schools had that kind of, so many of them, foreign interest. And also, Kalakshetra never used to have foreign, they never took foreign students for long time. They had short courses only.
2 years.
But when they finish that course, they immediately, at that time, they come to us. And some of them went to Adya Lakshman sir also. But at that time, those foreign students, some of them were they were paying good payment. Some of them stayed with us and paid for the lodging, and so that gave us a little money. But there were some scholarship students who could not afford much fees at that time. So we charged them nominally what we charged the local student, only we charged the foreign students also. Many people, foreign students were paying. Unfortunately, at that time, people had the wrong notion that foreign students pay a lot. It was not, in our case, it was not like that. You can ask some of our foreign students like Catherine Kunjiraman and Gloria and Sheila, Christine, all those foreign students. We were very accommodated to their, but the rumor at outside was not like that. I'm charging them heavily and I'm getting a lot of money and all that. So anyway, that I took it as very, say very lightly, or and we made it up. Luckily, God was so grateful to us. Everything came on our way. I must thank the Almighty for bringing opportunities on their own. There a lot of tours came, and lot of traveling happened. And also, I want to tell, after Kalakshetra, outside Kalakshetra, the same standard and group programs, it was we started that group movement, group productions after Kalakshetra. Kalakshetra was confined to Kalakshetra only. They were not giving much programs outside the sabhas. Yes. And we have traveled all over India with our group. Kalakshetra, when we were there, we used to travel. When Atte was there, we used to travel around India with our productions. But afterwards, when Atte also stopped dancing, then the traveling was very limited. But we, as a Kalakshetra product, we produced a lot of group productions, and that was traveled widely in and out of India. We were the pioneers for actually group productions in then only afterwards. So we had a lot of opportunities. In fact, in Tamil Nadu, we have performed every nook and corner. Whenever we had a production, we used to stage it for hundreds of times. These days, productions are there, but they stop with 1 or 2. But those days, when we produced a dance drama, we used to travel around Tamil Nadu and also around India, around Bharat. And here I would also like to say, I have been insisting on calling our country Bharat for a long time, for almost, yes, Bharat. And also our Natyam.
Natyam, not dance. Not dance, but Natyam.
The entire.
So I wanted everybody to call it Natyam and make the make the foreigners to understand what Natyam is. And they should also call, as we pronounce their Natyam as ballet, we can they should call our Natyam. Why should they be called dance or ballet?
Dance, yes.
Ballet is a very wrong term to apply to our group productions. People sometimes say ballet. It's not. Ballet is ballet. I want to tell you a small incident here.
Please.
the tourists who come here, they get confused with the name ballet. One tourist group, we used to entertain a lot of tourists in our institution. Whenever the tourism department bring a tourist and even travel agents, they bring to our studio and we perform for them, lecture them and educate them on our Bharatnatyam. So once a group of people came from abroad, Europe, to visit our institution, and then one of them, they after seeing they liked it so much, and they said, yesterday we were very disappointed to see a program in Music Academy. They have advertised it as not some period advertised it as ballet. It was a dance drama, but ballet. Thinking it is a ballet, this group went to see ballet, Indian ballet. They went there. They're disappointed. There was no ballet there, so they all walked off and came next day to our house and said, they said ballet, but there is no ballet. They are doing some other dance. Can you imagine? So we misuse the ballet, the term ballet, especially in Kerala. We used to, even when we were children, we used to hear this name ballet. Kerala, everybody for dance drama they call it ballet. Even the other day, when Haribadman was mentioning his father's ballet troupe, that was wrong. I always say it's a Natyam. Natyam Natakam Jiva Pujyam Purva Kathayadam. We have a very specific name for that. Why should we borrow and confuse the Western audience with the term ballet? I think people should change that and call it Natya. Natya presentation, Nritya Natakam, can call it like that, but don't confuse others with the term ballet. That I want to share it with you, our viewers.
That is such an insight into your, we always thought, because of late, see, to sustain art, we always need money. And Bharatnatyam being any dance form for that matter, any classical dance form is of course expensive. I won't call it expensive because it's a form of education. Like any other, people are ready to spend. If you become a doctor, people are ready. If you become a engineer, you would need a stethoscope. I always tell parents, if nanna adina salangai vaangi kodukre. I said, if you tell this to a doctor, a medico, nee nanna operation panna stethoscope vaangi tarena, how it will be similar to if you say nanna adina, I will buy you a salangai is also equally cheap and solve. Because it is a demand. You want to wear it, you want to dance, then you need it. You cannot say nalna adina practice sari vaangi tarena. It is like April vaangi tarena ni nalla operation, but it's so we never compare there. But why always we have this, that this is something extracurricular. It is not required in life, or it is not required by the regular stream of people. Not to forget, they are the same people who will say, oh, purva janma sukrito irukka, you are learning, or you are into the stream, and that hale janma vasane kannadale sollanona. In spite of that, people are not supportive to arts. So in this case, genre, you have said you danced in hotels for foreigners, you danced for weddings. So I'm sure you've been a pioneer, as you said, doing everything, probably the corporate culture and so, the corporate culture that is prevailing today, that we dance. Yes, even I feel so, but then as long as they don't eat and they don't merry may do when we are dancing, I'm okay with it. I would say you finish the dancing, then you can get into whatever you would want to. Now, you said there were a lot of brickbats at you when you started, and a lot of people said a lot of things. But how was your, of course, you had to lead a life more than all these people saying, or people talking, or saying something. It is your life. Nobody will feed you. Nobody will take care of the family. Nobody will support you if you don't put forward. But they are the same people who would point fingers at you and probably do negative criticism in media. How did you handle all that?
See, one thing, I always took technical criticism very well. And many people, of course, whenever there is some fault, people used to, like B.A.K. Rangarao, he used to, a very famous critic, he used to take his criticism very well, and then
discuss
why criticize. I have even occasions to discuss with the great Subbudu, who always criticized me as a male dancer, and later on he became my fan after a lot of criticism. My compositions used to be very different from some of the normal traditional compositions. So that also he used to point out, criticize. But later on, when I discussed it with him very well, I didn't take it as an offense. Criticizing is good. Criticism is good. If it is a healthy criticism, we have to take it and improve. So we have taken like that. So when he points out something, I would ask him, why did you point? What is wrong? Then I have to explain to him why I have danced. For instance, Swarathukku Abhinayam. I introduced some novel things in our early compositions.
Chini Krishna
Varnam and all that. Yeah, that's so I explained to him, this is Nritya. Nritya is both Nritta and communication. In Natya, we have the full Abhinaya. In Nritta, we have only pure dance. But dancing with Abhinaya is Nritya. When we incorporate that is Nritya, that is acceptable. It should be acceptable. And if I do, see, there are so many objects in the Prakriti which has no sentiments. But there is no Navarasa attached to it. For a Samudra or a flower or a deer or anything like that, or a tree, there is no sentiment attached to it. We can't say a Sringara tree or a Sringara sea, Sringara Nadi, or there is no sentiment. But for those things, the movements becomes the sentiment. So that can be done in the musical forms. Music comes, and if it is a breeze, those tarangam can be put in music, saras. That gives the expression. Even I want to show tiger, I have the Rautra Rasam, okay, but a deer is timid and all jumping. This is a deer, and I have to show a difference in same mudra, different mudra for Made. Aadukku we had to do a different movements. So that becomes Nritya. It's not wrong. So I had to explain in various ways in the lecture demonstrations. So finally, he accepted my contentions.
I think we should show you the example of, there is this thing about playing with a ball, okay? When Krishna jumps into the water and then kills. Before that, it's Swara. So, like a prelude, we did it. The Swara was used to do the story early, which means
One.
Papa sa sa papa sa ri sa ni sa da da ri sa da da ri sa ni pa da ni pa 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 ri ma ri sa ri ma pa ni sa ri ma ri sa da da ri sa ni pa da ni pa ma pa mu ni da ni la ni na ta na mu. Then it goes into
Wonderful.
It's that, and then the thing falls. Then from there,
So the story is like you're not killing time with just Swara and the Kapra Tirumbi Vande, you elaborate and then do the. So it is better that you finish the prelude story before in the Swara only with Nritta. So that makes sense. Yes.
Adella introduced on the whole.
That is why when we did Papa sa sa Papa sa ri sa ni sa da da, why are you doing expression for?
Yes, you are supposed to do Papa sa sa only Adavu.
So then he
Because
understood when
some-
you explained it, and he said, I
Then
understand.
later, second half of you must have seen that famous Varnam, Atana Varnam.
You call it
After that, also every composition we have changed certain new adaptation
Yeah, but
introduced.
it's just a creativity, that you feel
Yeah.
like something,
Yeah.
it's so long as it's within the limit, I think.
Correct.
Otherwise, you're not an artist, if you can't create. You should create and enjoy and keep the aesthetics always.
Absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Even I try my little hand in probably when Varanathila Panachi, suddenly, you're talking to your husband and they're like, I would be like, go with the mood. She's already gloomy, saying that அவன் பேசவே இல்லை, அவன் பழகவே இல்லை, பாடவே இல்லை, அவன் வந்தே இல்லை, சோறு பிடிக்காது, பாட முடியாது, சாப்பிட முடியாதுன்னு. Suddenly this Svara comes in, like, I like, there is no continuity. So we also try to.
No, Vivekananda doing jatis.
No, I have seen, all these Ambedkars in Vivekanandas and Gandhiji is doing jatis, that is.
Gandhiji, ballet,
Gandhiji doing Attumittoda. Second time, first time, Gandhiji with the stick. And Vivekananda is doing Tayyam Datta. All we've seen, all these variations we get to see.
Shanta wanted to give you a surprise. Yesterday she said,
You said it,
Yeah.
I'll give you a surprise. I said, you know what? You look so much like Swami Vivekananda in his younger days. when you just
ballet on.
you look so much, young Vivekananda. Only if you wore a turban, fantastic.
I have done couple of productions on Vivekananda. So if you have a demand for Vivekananda, you know where to look at. I'm right here. You just ask me, I just wear my turban and come over.
I was telling Shanta today, if there is a biopic coming on, I don't know whether anybody has done Vivekananda, then we will definitely suggest you.
It will be an honor to me. Recently, when the Padmaja Venkatesh had this thematic festivals, Bangalore Padmaja Venkatesh Kelvipitrakon. So she has all these thematic festivals where every year she dedicates the festival to one freedom fighter or somebody. Last year it was, before last year it was Abdul Kalam ji. Last year she dedicated the festival to Sister Nivedita. So Nano or a Delhi Kathak artist, we together came up with this Vivek Nivedita or a conceptual presentation where I was Vivekananda and she was Sister Nivedita. Trust me,
Okay,
I didn't know anything about Sister Nivedita, and that made me work and think and read a lot about that so that I could actually bring that on. I'll share the pictures and video with you.
Invite the spirit of and so said we know that, but now she have come out with.
when I saw you first time on the screen that day, last week, I said, my God, he looks like Vivekananda when he was young. God is faithful. So I said, I'll wait. I won't say this to him immediately. But you mentioned it and I had to say it.
So sweet, so sweet. Thank you. Blessed to say that. Of course, there are people saying Krishna, people saying Vishnu. People have said I look like Chiranjeevi, and this was another one coming from you, which means a lot to me. Saying I look like Vivekananda. Thank you. Please, if you have a ballet on Vivekananda, don't blink. Just think of me. I'll just wear the turban and come over. So, Mama,
don't say ballet.
Sorry. Okay. Nruthya Natakam. Yes. I'm so sorry. I will change.
Natyam is the correct word. Natyam tan natyam purva kathayutam. So Natyam is a word for it. Was we originated our whole performing art originated with Natya. That is why Natya Shastra in the Natyotpatti, it's that they started as in the Nataka of Palari Madhanam. What is churning of the Amrita Madhanam. Natya Rupena only Natya Shastra origin only as group productions. Later on only it became soloist very lately. Otherwise we have Yakshaganam, Bhagavata Mela, Kathakali, all that is group the world. Only very recent past, probably within 500 years, the solo system has come, Devadasi system has come, and all that solo program.
Evolved.
Otherwise, all our Bharatiya Natyam, it is group production. Chow dance you take, it's group productions. Ras Leela or Manipuri, all the Satriya, all that is group. And
that evolved.
Solo, yes. Solo little only because of very many practical reasons, of course, it has reasons. So now we are, of course, Kalakshetra again revived that tradition. Rukmini Devi started the
productions.
Yes, of course, definitely I wish to credit Uday Shankarji also for bringing the concept of Western ballet into our performing arena. And he is a predecessor. And Rukmini Devi has taken a lot of inspiration from Tagore, Rabindranath Tagore and Uday Shankar.
I heard that the initial days of Kalakshetra used to have male Kathakali artists teaching Abhinaya. So is that the reason, that influence of using of the lower eyelids and the Kadapugal and this is more in the Kalakshetra style, and probably the Rechita and Brukuti are little less when in comparison to other dance forms, that is styles that is happening in Kalakshetra.
Yes.
So that is reformed. When you have taken it, you have actually reformed them, and you don't use that much of Shringaratliyo and the Mari, Praviratliyo and the Mari, Raudratliyo Jasti, that you don't use so much like what actually the streamlined Kalakshetra dances do. Was it a conscious effort to change, or was it like you thought, okay, the Pani, let us try something new under the
Well, I tell you, Kalakshetra style as a whole, holistic style, has a judicious combination of Abhinaya and Angika, all the four Abhinayas properly, judiciously lined up. And Rukmini Devi definitely believed in the practice of Natya Shastram in its explicit form, and that is why she introduced Kathakali into Kalakshetra, and she's very fond of Kathakali style and the system education, system of training in Kathakali she has adopted, and that's how she asked even the Bharatnatyam session people to exercise, eye exercise, which in the Natya Shastra. There is eye movements Natya Shastra. All the Rechikas are in Natya Shastra, which all practiced by Kathakali and Kodiyatam artists. So she never compromised or anything, and she wanted to have exaggerated, stylized expressions. She didn't believe casual expressions like what some people do. They casually do. They don't really. When you want to do an expression, you should have that particular stylization, not just casually doing like that. The people understand it. If you do like that, they understand how they clap. But no, when you want to do Sringara, you have to use your eyes, use your eyebrows, these are all stylized expressions. She insisted on that. That's why Kalakshetra training, Kalakshetra artists do all stylized expressions. There used to be some criticism that the Kalakshetra has no expression. Kalakshetra only had technical virtuosity. But for that also, I had vehemently opposed and vehemently wrote about it, saying some people accusing Kalakshetra as not Abhinaya. Then I used to ask those people who was accusing Rukmini Devi that she has no Sringaram and all that. She has produced the most Sringara Kavyam, Gita Govinda. But there was criticism that Kalakshetra has no Sringaram, only regiments. It was totally. But I very vehemently opposed. But Atte didn't say anything. Nobody from Kalakshetra who objected to the criticism, they just kept quiet. But I took it as a challenge and I wrote, and every occasion I expressed, I said, how can they criticize like that? Because if we did not have expression, Rukmini Devi's productions would not have been so much successful. It's full of expression. Ravana, Rama, Sita, Surpanaka, everybody. Without expression, how can you be, a dance drama can be successful? So everybody was very systematized training there, the expressions were there, and Shringara was very subtle. Shringara, Atte used to say, Rukmini Devi used to say, it should not enter into vulgarity. There are in the Devasasi system
there's
sometimes.
a very thin line, you know.
Yes.
How you make it cheap and
beauty
dignified.
Without vulgarity. That is what Rukmini Devi always used to. Beauty should be beautiful, but not vulgarity. There are some of the medieval, the Devadasi system or the Dasi system, when some lyrics were written very, very, very colloquially and very mundane thing. There was no divinity. So the Sahityam composed for the, like saying, Kayil Kasilatavan Kadavulanalan Kadavai Satedi, Artham, something like that. Adhuvum sollu valav anegam sollu valav. Yes, yes. The expression is there, but when we do it very subtly. Even Indendu Vachidi Vira Alada Nillu Evi Kadu Popo. The Popo Bandaja Alada Popo. Pani, Ipri Panda Padikom. How does it look? Oh, Abri Pandradun de Pandina Padarga. Just like, and then the people will clap for that. They're doing like this. This expression, people clap for it. But that is not a correct expression. When you want to do the stylized, I
think it depends on the character that you're portraying. In dance dramas, there are certain characters where you apply the character into that particular.
Yeah, there is some dhanate in the character itself. There is some dhanate, respect. You cannot bring down gods to your levels because each god is, elite. Now, Adada, I have an example when I am teaching students. I say, if there is a dog left between a film actress, left behind a Maharani, left behind a Velekarthi, and left behind a politician, and the same dog is chasing all the 4 women. Each one, the way they run is different. But when they react to it, the Velekarthi will be like, but not the Maharani or not the film. They will still feel, how much ever they may be petrified, they will have their Sthai Bhava as, that they will not leave their dignity even while acting. And then as well, yes, because they have line.
Here I want to bring in, when Rukmini Devi composed Kutrala Kuravalji, the Kurati in that, so dignified. Jayalakshmi teacher, our teacher, Namaskaram teacher, she did on her, the Kurati, so dignified. And many people do when they Kurati becomes very, very koche. There is no divinity. It becomes very casual and like. But how beautifully she choreographed, how beautifully bring in the character also. And those days, of course, Kuratis were supposed to be very highly sophisticated scholar people, and so brought it. Same way, when she did Surpanaka in Ramayanam, there was no casual. There was that character is there, but the delineation was so with dignity. Even the Hasya was performed with dignity. With that character, Surpanaka, sometimes we have seen people doing Surpanaka in a very clumsy way, very crooked way, and without giving any see, Natyam has to be Natyam. It should be divine and it should be stylized. And there is no casual. Even if you do a mudra, you have to do a mudra properly. You have to hold, hastas must be properly, our stances must be properly. That is the criterion Kalakshatra we followed. We had the Nritta Karanas. For every Abhinaya, there is a Karana, the posture. Not just casually doing, walking up and down and doing. But every last year, I think Shanta, we gave a lecture demonstration in Music Academy talking about Nritya Karanas. Abhinaya, there is Karana for Abhinaya. Every Abhinaya, when you do want to do this for it, there is a body posture for that. And all the mandalas are used in the, that is called Nritya Karanas. For every, when you want to do this, the body movements also, the leg movements also comes in that. This also comes, just doing hand is not enough, but with body also. The Angika Abhinayam should be there, emphasized on the Nritya aspect of it. So we did lecture demo, Shanta did, because she was given the Natya Kalanidhi award last year, Music Academy. At that time she did this lecture demonstration on Nritya Karanas. So that means stylization even in the Abhinaya. At least at this moment, I remember once some people asking me in London when we performed some in a big theatre. I don't remember that near. When we did after the no, I don't think the other Logan Hall. When we performed Radha Madhavam, the Krishna
Based
and
on
Radha,
Gita Govindam, yes.
and there's a fully Sringara Bhava. And when I do my Vadasiya Dikinjitavi, I just not only the facial expression, I used a lot of Angika Abhinayam also in that. And then somebody after the program, there was a slight discussion after the program. Somebody asked, there is a theory that when you are doing Abhinayam, you should not use the postures and Angika Abhinayam. You should only do Hasta and Mukham. Even Hasta is not necessary. Mukhathil idhila panna porom. But when you did, you did the Abhinaya, Sringara Abhinayam, but you are using a lot of Angika Abhinayam also to go with that. How is that possible? But we got the Abhinayam aspect of it. We are able to see the Abhinaya, Mukha Abhinayam, and also they have Sharira Abhinayam. Simultaneously, it didn't look incongruent. But the people say if you do Angika Abhinayam, Mukha Abhinayam will be reduced. But that was not there. We were able to see both simultaneously. So it means in Abhinayam also we have to incorporate our body stances that will enhance the Abhinaya. That is why that is what Kalakshetra has emphasized, and that's what Rukmini Devi always emphasized on. That Abhinaya should also be stylized and it should be dignified, and the Sahityas chosen for Padams are also should be very literary and also divine.
Is that one of the reasons why when there are two characters, let us say Radha is communicating to Krishna, she will never look at him, but she will look at the other side, angle, and even when Rama is, let us say, if he is saying something, he will not look at her, but rather look at the audience in a upfront diagonal way.
At the stage, that is for a stage, there is an etiquette at the stage, because if the people a little away from, not close, far, because now the proscenium stage, for the proscenium stage, to see the actor acting, that application of not looking like this, it becomes small. When we look at there, it becomes the people,
audience.
They can see it better and they understand it better. And this is also another technique. Yato hastas tato drishti, yato drishtis tato manaha, and that concept, wherever the hands go, the drishti must go. Wherever it also means wherever the hands cannot touch, drishti can touch.
Touch. Okay.
You can see there. But if I look at the hand, it becomes very small. But if I look at there, people can see that I am looking at that in a distance, and at the same time they can understand the abhinaya better. So expose, that is why that is a little more exaggerated expression. Of course, it is a Kathakali technique. Kathakali also we do the same. That has been adopted. They be very judiciously adapted and saying, not straight away look like that, but look like.
Mama wants a chance to look into your eyes, Mommy. Not bad. You seem to be head over heels in love with each other. So coming back to your head over heels stage, now that you are blessed with two boys, at any point of time, how are the challenges with keeping the boys at home, taking care of them and dancing and touring and doing all the corporate works, doing justice as a mother? And I'm sure you would not have had boys and maids to cook, you had to do that as well as do your role as a dancer. Because many would have thought, she'll be doing only this. I'm sure many would have said that. How did you manage? How did you juggle these roles?
Did you both? How are you doing it?
Nowadays it's much easier. So nowadays it's much easier, Mommy. I think your time must have been very hard.
We were very
lucky. You had heard, because definitely the facilities are much more nowadays.
See, nowadays you have mixie, you have grinder, you have dryer, you have everything. Those days, art, and some people probably and sometimes, you had to do that in that
Guest
we were so lucky and fortunate to have Shanta's mother with us. Mother was mother and father, and
father. Then my mother's younger sister, my Chitti, was also there. So I was really pampered by them. Their presence was really great for me. I did, of course, help whenever there was,
Luckily, they were retired and came back to.
From Malaysia, they came back. So
whenever we traveled, they looked after. We used to travel very much, I should say. When we started after 1973, the amount of travel we have done, it is amazing. No, I don't think anybody would have done. But sometimes 6 months we were away, and her mother and Chinnamma will take care of the household, and the father was looking after all my
financial.
He is the one. I am a spendthrift. I mean, I would give away my manage money. He taught me how to manage money, how to manage.
He was an accountant with a BA.
Oh wow!
So totally under control.
So I left it.
At the same time, was there any time you thought that Malaysia, so she was also from Malaysia, let us go and settle in Malaysia instead of Chennai, and a thought vandada?
I'll tell you, it's all providence. I had a good chance of going to Malaysia, and Shanta had already started an institution there under the government of Malaysia government, and those people who have been, when they know that we are going to get married and we are interested in each other, and Uma Samandar, she recently passed away, a great lady. She was supporting Shanta very much at that time.
My husband was the minister then.
So at that time, I had the wonderful opportunity.
Suppose the power, let me remind people, if the power goes off, we'll be logging in again, people, because there is a lot of thunder and lightning. Suppose the power goes off, the stream we will connect, don't worry. We will come back in another stream. So this is just a reminder for people, if whoever is connected will log into the same stream again. So for that one reminder. Yes, sir, please continue. Sorry to break you in between.
No problem.
No, this is an interesting story.
Yes.
And they are trying to lure me to Kerala. But that time, I was a fastidious Kalakshetriyan. I never thought I would leave Kalakshetra. And also, Shanta also thought Kalakshetra is the place for me, and I would never move out of Kalakshetra.
That's why I came back. I said I'll come
Yes.
back. I just had a three years, there just to be with my parents, and I came back.
If I had gone there, then things would have been completely different. Probably would have made a lot of money and whatnot, but not this kind of fame and
Satisfaction. Artistic.
But Kalakshetra, nobody thought I would leave Kalakshetra because Rukmini Devi also used to say that I had nothing to worry, Dhananjayan will take over. There were a lot of...
when we got married, especially,
yes.
She was there.
But situation
Changed.
I had to leave Kalakshetra. And again, I had an opportunity to go back in 1988 before Kalakshetra was taken over by government. I was asked by the government agent whether we could move back to Kalakshetra, leaving Bharatnatyam was established already, and we are already famous. But as luck would have it, I couldn't take the offer because of various reasons. And I thought even my colleagues there may not be very happy if I go back. When they were all there, I have to take over the reign. They would not have liked it so much, I think. That's what I very carefully didn't take the offer. And I continued with Kalakshetra, Bharatnatyam. That's how. So that's how they were. But we still continued our relationship, and all our colleagues were there, and we are helping everybody. We were able to help actually Kalakshetra in so many ways, and also our colleagues there. We were able to, since staying outside, we were able to bring them out, recognize them, and try to help in whichever way we could.
That's our family, after all. We grew up there. You just cannot feel that they are different or we are different. We are part of,
Not able to read this. Not able to read this comes and goes.
Yeah, I will be putting the questions forward. One of them, of course, Tulsi auntie says, does Kalakshetra students even today dance like the students of those days? For that, Savitri auntie already answered saying that yes, Kalakshetra students dance the same way even today. And there is another question which said that you've seen 3 generations of... one second. Yes.
Yeah.
You have seen the evolution of dance over 3 generations. Do you feel happy with the way art and artists have evolved, or do you see any particular area that you feel should change?
See, changes are imperative. A lot of changes have taken place. We have seen from 1950 onwards, 52, 53 I came. It is it's not the same Bharatnatyam what I saw that day. But definitely, we have to credit Kalakshetra for bringing a lot of innovations in the Adavu system, Abhinaya system, theatrical presentations. Everything has changed. It's all evolutionary changes, which is imperative. And after we came out of Kalakshetra, we have also contributed to the development, evolution, and brought in a lot of new ideas into the system. When we left Kalakshetra, when we started in 68 Bharatnatyam, it was still the Alaripu Tilana format. People were not able to change.
Once in a while, you see Kautwams, that's all.
That's and it's the same tradition being continued. But I think we broke the chain. We brought in a new evolution by starting with new items, new contemporary sahityas were taken, and a lot of movements have been evolved. And the contemporary musicians' sahityas were introduced. even I want to say in Kalakshetra, when we were there, even Bharatiya's songs were not taught to us, or Swati Tirunal was not introduced there. But that all, when we came out, we brought a lot of Bharatiya songs into the fold. We brought in Swati Tirunal Sahityas into Bharatnatyam. And we also composed a lot of new items like Nrutyopharam, Nrtangaharam, and many Shabdams and all that.
Your own lyrics you have done.
I have composed a complete Bharatanatyam repertoire in Malayalam and tuned itself. There is a CD cassette, music cassette called Sringara Lahiri, sung by P. Unnikrishnan, the famous Carnatic singer, as a kacheri format. That's all my Sahityam in Malayalam, Atmani Pravalam, and that can be adopted to Bharatanatyam. So it's a complete Bharatanatyam repertoire. So like and when we started Natyanjali, the Natyanjali was coined by me, the name. In 1968, I composed Natyanjali incorporating all the 5 jatis, 5 gatis, 5 deities, all 5 ragas, all this ragas. The Natyanjali. Instead of doing Alaripu all the time, I changed the format to Natyanjali, which was a big there was a big reception for that. People liked it because they wanted a change. And the growing generation who want to understand Bharatanatyam better, that has given, we paved path by introducing new items like Natyanjali. And in fact, the Sanchari, there were not many Sanchari those days in the Varnam. I call Varnam Nrutyopahara, not Varnam. Varnam is a musical format. I call it Nrutyopahara because Nritya Upahara, an offering of dance and mind dance. So that is why the first introduction was this Atana Varnam, where I have incorporated a lot of Sanchari Bhava in the story form. When the stories, Krishna stories were told, it was enjoyed by the 8-year-old and the 80-year-old. They were able to enjoy it. Communication was very, very. When in the Kalakshetra format or the olden format of doing just Padartha Vinayam, scholars could understand it, they enjoyed it. But commoners, we are not able to understand that Sahityam, Telugu Sahityam or Tamil, highly high-flown Telugu or Samskrita or Kannada, they were not able to understand. But this, when we did Sancharis in a very communicative way, stories, Krishna stories or Rama stories, it was very well received and people started understanding. That is how a new generation of audience we were able to create, and they started coming for Bharatanatyam performances. Not only here, and we have traveled all over Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, Andhra. We have to perform a lot of, and of course all over Bharat. We call it Bharat, okay, not India. So there was a time when people in Delhi and all the others in the northern cities, people criticize in the papers, Times of India and all that. There was once in Delhi, there was a big caption on the front page saying, Dhananjayan, Dhananjayan, Dhananjayan. That was the caption of the criticism. Is it as if there is no other dancers in the world? That is the next line. The critic who criticized said, we have been going there quite often and establishing and I am very proudly to say, Kalakshetra style as it was, we all, our generation, like our batch, probably I should say our batch. Who are our batch mates, you can say, tell. Don't say many, tell all the stuff.
Savitri auntie, yeah.
Vishwa Nruthya, and many more. Of course, our teachers were there also.
Their teacher.
That brings me to one small, lighter question in between to break you. Who is the boss at home? Who is the boss?
It depends. It depends on the subject.
Because when you say, so then, okay, now this is the point. Okay, depends on the subject.
All those very, very great dancers, all of them, all of the classmates were trained. We were all trained together and were equally competent. But when we came out, of course, we started performing more than anybody else as Bharatnatyam dancer.
I think that's because it was also duo. It was more interesting that way, probably challenging also.
So we were able to popularize Kalakshetra style much greater than what Kalakshetra has done. Even it confined to the four walls of Kalakshetra, they never performed in the solo or tradition was now not outside. Even in Sabhas never used to perform. Nobody. Only we started doing, only the people started understanding what is the beauty of Kalakshetra style. And then, of course, when we started traveling abroad, we started traveling abroad from 1970 onwards. And our first trip to America was in 1976 to educate the American population, American children. We were invited by the government of America, that is the New York State government education department, to address a UNESCO conference, Art in Education. We got that chance out of the blue. So we educate. At that time, the immigrants were not at all doing anything. They were doing some Bollywood dance and not even. Yes. So we introduced Bharatnatyam in the purest form, the Kalakshetra style, and people started understanding, oh, Kalakshetra is great. That's how many people started emulating Kalakshetra style, and we were the pioneers to propagate and preserve and popularize that monumental style created by Rukmini Devi and her Varisi, like Sharda Hoffman, Jayalakshmi teacher, Pushpa teacher, and people like that. And of course, Professor Chandrasekhar, who has taken it, he was more of a teacher, professor earlier, working in the northern India. He also, of course, he was a great performer. He is a great performer, scholar. And he didn't have much opportunities in the north to perform solo performances. Maybe he must have done Benares and Baroda, a few, but only after coming back to Madras, he got all his dues paid off. So I must humbly say that we were instrumental in popularizing the great style created by Kalakshetra, the Rukmini Devi and her lineage. So our batch of students.
Fortunate for being so.
Because then we started going to America very often, and that's how conducting 25 years of Yogaville Gurukulam camp has created a flutter in America where everybody there, immigrant teachers who emulated great inspiration from that Gurukula system that we create. All students came there to learn, and just like Kalakshetra, we were there 24/7.
So yoga ashram.
That was a big contribution that we made to the development of art in America. And we were instrumental, since we were performing a lot in America, and we were also creating opportunities not only for Bharatnatyam, other than Natyam style also, and also Carnatic musicians. We have introduced a lot of musicians. And many of our own musicians who were hired by the local Bharatnatyam artists, they became also part of they started settling down there. Like Babu Parameswaran, who is now there, and Arvind Akshan, who was with us, and in London. Babu is doing a wonderful job in California now. He's playing, singing for everybody. And recently, I think we asked him to compose Varnam for us. He's just done it. The Varnam, not the usual Varnam, it's on Amma. Mother, your mother. The greatness of Amma is our God, Pratyaksh God. So he has composed very beautifully using a new raga created by Pandit Ravi Shankar, Parameshwari. And it's a Varnam,
One of
we
the
have just
ragas,
completed.
the Ragamalika.
Yes. So, like that, many musicians settled there, we were instrumental. And also, in fact, I would like to share even.
Can you sing a few lines from that Varanam you said about that Amma Vele or 2 lines? Can you sing?
Shanta has to sing.
Yes.
Amazing.
എന്തുരക്കാത്ത ജന്മമുണ്ടോ ഈ ഭുവിയിൽ എന്തുരക്കാത്ത ജന്മമുണ്ടോ. It starts like that.
Is there a living
അമ്മേ നുരയ്ക്കാത്ത ജന്മമുണ്ടോ ഈ ഭൂമിയിൽ? You understand that?
இந்த உலகத்துல நீ இல்லாம ஏதாவது ஒரு லிவிங் பெருமாள் இருக்காளா? நீ தான் பெருமாள். நீ தான், you are only the living God. And yes,
That's
beautiful.
Niti Gaula, and then goes on to different ragas. And Parameshwar has been introduced. Yeah, and hopefully someday it should be. They have just finished composing.
So beautiful.
And it should be,
probably
when we have spoken about Amme, another question with Amme only I should ask. Now, for any mother, dancers especially, we always think more than we feeling bad, the people who look at us will feel bad that we are blessed with 2 boys. Somebody would have said this, you don't have a daughter, because that is one common thing that we get. We are also blessed with 2 boys. So we are always like, you're so sad, you should have got a daughter. You should have got a daughter. For that, we say, thankfully, we'll be able to do justice to all the girls in the class. Nobody will feel, oh, ivar kolande irukke, so ivar da heroine annu solla maata. That was one part of the question. The second part of the question was, did you ever think that even they should learn dance, or they should be, have an interest towards dance? Did they ever have interest towards dance? How did that equation grow?
Of course, all our students are daughters, but I got also a very special affinity to my niece, Divya Shiva, who is my brother's daughter. She's like our daughter. She's here and she's helping us today. But also, everybody is equally treated.
My second son, Satyajit's wife, Anupama, who is our student but doesn't perform now anymore.
She's a very good dancer.
Very good dancer. She does yoga full time now. And of course, with the aesthetics and with this idea of having performed, having been there, she's a great help to run the institution right now, along with her husband, Satyajit.
Divya is performing a lot. I don't know whether she has performed for you.
Divya Shivasundar is her name. So she's also learned this Varnam.
So that she's our daughter. So,
and many students,
all the students are like
most of our students, we have very close links with them there. Most of them are abroad, all over the place. They've all become even grandmothers. And to us, they're all our daughters. So we never felt that we didn't have our own daughter.
We are very proud. Many of them are doing wonderful.
It's so nice.
Job. Wonderfully, many of them are professionally engaged, and not many, of course.
And in
so
touch
many
with
thousands.
us, and in touch with us always. So we are so happy and so fortunate to have.
Some of them are still helping, like Shobana Bharatnatyam. She is still helping us in the class.
Radhika, her sister, the trio sisters.
Many of them, of course. Srilata.
Now the second part of the question. Did your sons learn dance, or did you think they should learn dance? Was there any conscious effort that they should learn dance, or were they kept away from dance?
They dance a lot.
Sorry. இன்னும் சொல்லக்கூடாது. ஏதாவது ஒரு மன்னிச்சிடுங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டு மன்னிச்சிடுங்க ப்ளீஸ் அது சொல்லக்கூடாது. மன்னிச்சிடுங்கன்னு சொல்லி
get used to the term.
Takes time even for us. Slip into dance very easily.
And
okay. The dance is in general, but when we talk about our
பரதநாட்டியம் நீங்க உங்க குழந்தைகளுக்கும் நாட்டியம் கல்த்து கொடுக்கணும், சொல்லி கொடுக்கணும், அவரும் கல்த்து வைக்கணும், ஏதாவது ஒரு கான்சியஸ் எஃபர்ட் போட்டுடலாம்.
I tell you so small incident where it was touched my heart. In one of the occasions when I was visiting America in Atlanta, yes. Atlanta, we were flying in Atlanta. We were just stopping over with our student Subhadra Sudarshan, and suddenly they all said we have to talk to some. So they suddenly arranged a small lecture demonstration in a mall. Can you imagine? So yeah, okay, we went there, and they announced saying we are going to do a demonstration. We said, okay, we are going to have a small dance demonstration. Mind you, a little boy of 7 got up. They are very bold, as you must have seen. What dance? Then it struck me. We can call it dance, and the child is asking me what dance. The question is very, very important question. Then only it struck me, yes, I should have specified the name of the. So I am said, sorry, ma, I am going to do Bharatnatyam. Oh, yes, okay. Then he was convinced, and after that, it got into my head, and I said I should never say the word dance for our performance. We should always say Bharatnatyam and Natyam. That's how I've been popularizing it. And then, mind you, after the performance, this same little boy got up and said, I have never seen such a beautiful Bharatnatyam ever in my life. He was only 7.
it's really
Compliment I could get. And then I said, oh, that is a big award for me. Will you write it for me? Then will you give it to me? Yes, he ran to the bathroom and bought some toilet paper. And somebody gave him an eyebrow pencil and then wrote, you are the best male dancer in the world.
So sweet. That would have been bigger than any other award to you, I'm sure. Coming from such an innocent kid, in the government பொறுத்தவரைக்கும் எந்த ஒரு பெரிய அவார்டுக்கோ அதுக்கு it cannot match up to any award because it came from a child's heart and you could touch that. And எவ்வளவு பெரிய ஒரு and இந்த விஷயத்தையும் நீங்க இங்க சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கீங்க, that itself shows how great or how humble you are. So இது வந்து I wanted, நானே என்னோட questionக்கு my question is still there. Was it a conscious effort to keep the kids away, or did they learn, or were they somewhere in the Mariana?
I don't know.
Both my boys, they started learning Natyam. The Sanjay was
music, of course.
Sanjay was more a musician, the musician and Mridangist, and Sanjay learned till Jatiswaram.
Started Jatiswaram.
And suddenly his grandmother was instrumental in his stopping that, because we were taxing him too much.
He was so thin at that time, so very thin. He was skin.
So very sympathetic, and you are making my boy so that got into his head and he stopped.
He said he's comes from school and then he's so tired and you're taxing him too much. Poor thing, stop it. So slowly, he also just
left. But he became a good musician.
A good musician. He sings and he plays the mridangam.
Also.
So somewhere, it is all there. So
and he helps us. His musical knowledge is fantastic. So we have to refer to him. In fact, some of the compositions like Balamurali's Kuntala Tilana and Maya Malavagoula, the Varnam, all
was taught by him. He's the one instrumental who.
He liked Balamurali Krishna's composition so much. So he is the one who
will come up with
ideas. Of course, Kuntala Varali Tilana, we took it from, I think, V.P. Rangarao, a great art critic. He's the one who brought to us. That's the first Balamurali composition came into Bharatnatyam arena. And 1969, 70s, like,
70.
his composition were not accepted or not in the
Not done.
Bharatnatyam repertoire, not done. But we started first with the Kuntalavara Tilana, which became a big hit, and later on, many people have
Even today, it's a
started.
favorite for
Yes.
everybody.
Even this Kuntalavara Tilana is favorite of Pandit Ravi Shankar.
Even Ravi Shankar ji loved it. Always, whenever we saw him and we had time, and he'll ask me to sing all that.
That is a very-
all those,
Yes.
he loved it,
Balamuli, yes, we have done a lot of compositions of Balamuli, sir, and we are a great fan of him. And he has one of his Tilana, which we did it as Nrutya Tarangini, and he changed the Sahitya for us.
Kadana Kutuhala.
Kadana Kutuhala. He changed the Sahitya.
We did this for the Festival of India, Russia.
Wow.
So he changed even the sound. He changed
Okay.
the sound just to accommodate our names there. Like
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Palikene. So he
One line, mommy, from that.
Prabhala Dhananjayuni Sadguru Palikene. So he said he didn't do that line. So he said, I want to come and see. So he came home to see the choreography. Then he said, wait, I put a line there. Why didn't you do? So he said, sir, you put my name there. I feel bad. Who said it's your name? Dhananjay is Arjuna's name. I talked about Dhananjay. I want it now. Immediately sit and do. And he taught the musicians then and there, and he made us do all the 8 girls. He made us do it then and there. Shanta Pavanam. He brought my name also, Shanta Pavanam.
Wow.
Prabala Dhananjayuni Sad Guru Swaram Palikene. Diwali. I forgot about it.
Anyway, so much.
That's so amazing.
Your second son?
Second son, of course, he did his full Arangetam. He is, of course, Satyajit. He is a very absolutely accomplished Bharatnatyam dancer by all means. And he is a good musician too. He sings very well. He can do Natvangam very well. He plays violin. He was
Violin, okay.
a couple of lessons. He went to Lalgudi. Lalgudi sir also.
And he didn't complete. And I used to ask,
So they have hope.
This,
Do you think boys have like some more restrictions with learning dance, because there is always that tag of effeminate being attached to boys?
that was not there.
Parents are sometimes scared that their boys might become effeminate dancing.
I know.
So what is your take on that?
anymore, because you see,
Generally, should boys generally, if you were to like counsel somebody, supposing boy is interested, but the parents are slightly skeptical because boy might turn out effeminate learning dance.
we should learn from all of us now. You are there, I'm here, there. Haripadman is there. So many other Anuradha and Sridhar and Kiran and all those couples are there. All good male dancers.
Perfect.
There are so many. Now that taboo is gone.
That's gone now.
All the male.
That's a myth.
No, initially when you started the that time.
That was there. That's why I had to fight with the. Yes, I had to fight with people. And a fight in a sense, I had to show, I established man can
Because
dance.
male dancers because male dancers can dance like males, definitely.
Yes.
Females dance like females, male dance like males. There is no that thing saying, because he's dancing, he has.
I always say you don't need an art form to define the gender. you keep the dance and the dancer away.
Yes. We have never got a chance to perform in the city sabhas. You understand?
Oh.
They never gave. And I never asked for any because first of all, I will ask money. So secondly, they didn't want to man like that. But the first break came from thanks to Mr. Krishnaswamy of Naradagan Sabha and the first Sabha performance we ever undertook was Naradagan Sabha. After that only other dancers, other sabhas have come. This I have, when I got Nritta Chudamani in Krishnagana Sabha, at that time I didn't perform in the Krishnagana Sabha.
Okay.
They gave me the award and then I performed, of course. And then then I gave a big lecture on these things when I received, and that lecture was a big bomb. That day onwards, they started encouraging couple dance. Even Music Academy, they never encouraged male dancers and they never gave me a chance. But when they gave me a chance later on the production, then I asked the money. Then somebody said, "You're asking money from Music Academy? Getting a chance itself is a great thing." I said, "The Music Academy did not do anything at that time." Now, of course, there's a different thing. They honored us, both of us, with the highest honor. That all happened later. So I am the predecessor. So I am dance and music. That was another taboo broke down. I was the first one to get a chance. Male dancer to get a chance in Music Academy. So later on, now everybody is doing. So these are all a lot of firsts there.
How did you even muster courage to say, even because you could have been, sabotaged, somebody would have tried to pull you down, somebody would have said, in the career, all these things are there in the field. How did you muster courage to even combat such practices and talk against them?
It's purely our merit and steadfast the conviction, merit conviction, the strength that Kalakshetra gave us, Rukmini Devi gave us, the training we got from the stalwarts like Smt.Shanta and Sharda teachers, Rukmini Devi and all the Jayalakshmi, all that strength gave me this courage to fight against many odds and to break a new path for the younger generations to stride on.
So well said, so well said. Because you've been these things probably I never knew. I always thought, dancers who look at you as Dhanajayans perceive that you would have your walkway would have been bed of roses. It was very easy for you. Somebody would have just given to you, or you didn't have to bother about all this. You got your Padma Shri, you got your Padma Bhushan. So this is probably the world perceive around you, apart from people who know you, would perceive you. This is such even I didn't know many things that you actually, it is an eye-opener for us.
So many other things that is, I don't know whether in time, which in our life, the experience of coming through all this, the journey is very, very...
Write a book on all. That's the book I think that you've written.
That is not my book, but is my student, very ardent student, Tulsi Badrinath, has written, sitting with almost 6 months, she sat with me and she made a book, Master of Arts. That talks about male dancers also, some of the, how it is a struggle for male dancers to establish. And that book also was judged as top 10 of the year 2013 book, publishers top 10 on the book, the selling book. So she got that award. From the Times of India.
She is one of our senior.
She is a novel writer. She has written a lot of novels.
She's a great writer, following her father.
Father was an IAS officer. Badrinath, very famous man. So she's continuing. She's also, even now, she comes and practices.
She comes even now to practice.
So she has taken a lot. Many of my incidents are in that book. And apart from that, there is another book called Melodious Garlands by Rajagopal. Garland Rajagopal, an IAS officer, he retired. He is no more. There's a book, our life history has been penned by him. Many of the great stalwarts life history has returned.
Yes,
that's also. So many of the incidents are there. And still there is still more there to share.
Now you've been dancing for over 6 decades. I'm sure 6-7 decades. And then every time when you're dancing, she is doing better, or I'm doing better, or I should overshadow, or you both. So how do you have these kind of did you ever have feelings of this sort, or you had arguments related to these, or during choreography you should have done that, you should have done this, why did you move 2 inches away to the spot, I should have been this spot. We have it.
We have arguments like that sometimes. Why did you do this? Why did you do this?
I
you have arguments.
I should confess, we never had such a thing, because but we mutually understand, of course.
See, we understand our strong points and the weak point between us. I know where he is strong and where he can shine. I know my, how much I can do. So I maintain that, I keep to that, and I let him do what he is good at. So this way, I think we share. But of course, like you said, when you do a certain adavus a different way, I would say, let's do it like this, don't do it straight, or little things, but never as a blown up argument.
But we have to definitely have to confess. Sometimes I make some mistakes. She will immediately say, you made a mistake like that. But but I will take it back. Okay, but we won't argue. I would have done some in Tirumana or something like that. I would have finished one beat earlier or later.
One day this is the off.
Anybody. But as expressive pieces and abhinaya pieces and things like that, I think it takes over. So people.
Nritya's part, Tala, Nritya,
very perfect. Shanta is absolute perfect. I wouldn't say I am absolute perfect in my rhythmic movements. When we do it exactly. People wonder how we coordinate so well. But still, I know she is a perfectionist in that, and I don't think there is any dancer from Kalakshetra, even her. Talking about our own colleagues, Shanta is the perfect dancer by all means. Even Shanta would.
So cute.
We will all give that credit to Shanta.
So now please, you were telling something.
I love movements. I love the rhythm. I love the intricacies. I love the jumps. That's because, that's how I was born. I think I like to move. That's my love for it.
Very, very precise. I will change sometimes my movements and expressions. Every day.
He becomes very imaginative. All of a sudden he'll take off something else. I said, for me, all in position.
That is what you should do. No impromptu on stage.
Yeah.
Similar.
We have a similar thing.
Similar
We have a similar thing.
Have that.
Definitely.
All couples will have that. That's good. As long as it doesn't end up
in big fight. So long as it's healthy, way of change. It's good.
Yeah. Narendra says, between Ekalavya and Arjuna, whom do you prefer?
Oh my God. What? Narendra, you're putting us.
Definitely, I like Ekalavya. Even though I am straightforward answer. Yeah.
There.
Yeah. So in your initial days to today, what is your schedule like with kids and with classes in the evening? When do you practice? What is the schedule that you follow normally when you are performing or even when you're not performing? What is the schedule that you follow?
Earlier, you're talking about
Earlier, when the kids are younger, see, when they grow up and they're on their own, it is less of job. But when they're still young and they need your time,
What was the schedule?
what was your schedule and how did you balance home and dancing, practice and classes? And that is the break. See, you have to work, you have to perform. Performances, we prepare 4 hours before, and after coming back, we have job for another 4 hours, taking off the makeup, putting out the costumes to drying, then again press it, put it back. Meanwhile, you bale chapatis or make sapad and feed the kids. And again, think of next morning, you see the paper is dinner, paper has covered you or no, and then make breakfast, feed children, and again practice. I have
Earlier, I'll tell you the schedule is we are very disciplined family. I am very disciplined. My day-to-day dealings, everything is very straightforward and very disciplined. Because I always say 3 Ds: discipline, devotion, and dedication. These are the 3 Ds make the
and then dance, and then Dhananjayan. So
5 Ds. So, in the early days, of course, I used to take a lot of classes. Shanta was looking after the home ground, making the breakfast and all that, until she finishes. I used to take a lot of classes early morning, starting with 6 o'clock. I used to get up 4:35 and do some yoga. I used to do a lot of yoga at that time, yoga practices, and then 6 o'clock onwards we'll be having classes at that time. And when we started our career, and then there was a time when in 3 years I was working in a commercial company as a PA to a chairman. That's a
TTK. The famous TTK in company.
That time I used to take a class. And Shanta would give me a career meal, and we used to rush to the office and finish the office by 5 o'clock and rush back in a bus coming back.
Or by bus.
There it was easier, quick also. And again take classes, evening classes by 5 o'clock, 5:30 or 6 o'clock I'll be back. And then we'll be taking class for the evening batch. Shanta used to go to Kalakshetra till 7.
I continued even after he left. I continued for almost 2-3 years, 2.5 years.
And she's left Kalakshetra. Then, of course, after doing the home chores, she would take classes, and we would also practice. And we had the advantage of all the musicians with us throughout the day. All the musicians.
We started to train them, so we had them at home with us. So this was a great advantage.
We were very, very lucky to have Lakshman Sir's family, Adya Lakshman Sir's family helping us. Lakshman Sir now doing the tongue for us, singing for us.
Earlier
and Gopinath doing Mridangam for us. And Nagamani singing for us. They were all available for us throughout. And then we started training Rajashekaran, who was a very wonderful singer from Kalakshetra. We trained him. And later on, Seturaman and many people we trained, and we kept them at home, and they were able to help us through our practice also. We gave the class in the morning, and when after the home chore is over, Shanta will join me to practice our classes. We used to have a lot of practice, about 20 performances a month and all that. Sometimes there were 30 performances a month. It was like that. So the practice was there and performances were there. And then when we started traveling in 1973, we got a big offer from Theatre de la Ville, Paris, but for the India Festival. And Prajur Maharaj and all those people were there at that time, along with 32 people. And that was there. That was a big, out of the blue opening for us in Paris. And from there, we were chosen to travel around Europe and all that. So practice, and I should compliment. I should also thank Lakshman sir for helping us a lot. And then when he branched off to us, Chudamani, still they used to come and help us. And then when our musicians were ready, like Rajasekaran and all that, and then slowly Lakshman sir also started getting a lot of students from all over, and then we parted, yes.
But we,
then two entities.
We were together.
So we were the first, actually, Bharatakalanjali started in 1968. That was one of the probably oldest registered institutions at that time.
Yeah,
and then
Nrutyodaya was there already.
Nrutyodaya, yes.
And also
Yes, correct. But as a Kalakshetra branch, it was ours was the first. Then Lakshman sir, and then so many other happened. That's how
what do you have to say about arangetrams and recorded music? If on the Nariya recorded music pandra, today's demand is like, what is your take on that?
I'm absolutely not against it. I'm against recorded music performance at all. I am very much so far. I have never done Natyam for recorded music, except probably to do. One or two television shows in Sri Lanka. But I detest Rangetam should be with the live music and whatever we are now.
If possible, it depends on the circumstances. Sometimes.
Even the virtual Rangetam that we did recently on the online, that we did with
live orchestra.
And that gives a lot of
freedom to innovate, to be involved also.
A lot of divinity to the whole presentation of it. This is very divine. Divine in a sense, Bhakti Shraddhayoda panna vendiya or karyam adu. And people like us who innovate sometimes come extempore. Narendra also. I don't think Narendra now started doing for. He was also very against recorded music. He was criticized for saying like that. But now things are different.
You can't help it. You have to.
And now the musicians are not available for practice like the olden days. So, great. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Karimane Shivananda Hegdeji says, it is so enlightening. I cherish our performance at their 32nd Natyakala conference at Chennai. Dhananjayan ji liked them performance and it was an honor for Akshama and Madli. So many of them have spoken about
for me to bring him to Natyakala conference. That is the year when I started Purusha, the subject Purush. The whole conference was on Purush. Thematic idea. Then that's how I brought Karimane. And it was a great performance. That also, it's a good introduction. That was an introduction to Yakshagana in Chennai. Later, a lot of people started coming. So I'm very happy that I started the movement of Yakshagana in the southern in the Chennai seasons.
I must just include, yes, Narendra, you will be the next Tyagaraja. I assure you.
And he said, he is the Ekalavya also.
I'm the Tyagaraja. You are.
I was not too well, so I trained him to do Tyagaraja, and he was almost ready. But everybody said, Music Academy performance. They said, how can, without you, how can we can't have a substitute there. So that is good. I did. But he was ready already to go. And next this Tyagaraja will be, I think only he can do it. I don't think he can replace me. I think because we have the same wavelength. And that kind of characterization. And he has seen me a lot. So definitely.
Yeah.
Now is the time when I would request you to perform something for us.
We have been going on time.
It will be an
Honor to watch
give
all of
Sri
us. All the viewers are also equally. Who would want to start first, Mama or Mami?
Mami Sampan. The ladies first.
I'll sit here.
Yeah.
You come.
Yes. So நீங்க
my life is made.
நீங்க என்ன பண்றீங்க? What will you do? Jaganmohan Krishna or Baro Krishna? Jaganmohan Krishna you will do? Okay. I'll sing that.
You know Jagadan Mohan, isn't it?
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, who doesn't know? Tell me. In Bangalore,
See, this Jagan Mohan Krishna, it was composed in 1970s. When Madurai Satyaraj, Madhura Satyaraj from Mysore, she used to sing. She's such a wonderful, sweet lady. She's not there. She's the one who gave us this song, and we should compliment her. She was such a beautiful. She used to sing, and I composed it.
Danced it so many times.
So many times, maybe 500 times. You were.
அப்படி நான் ஒரு தடவை கூட பாடில. I'll try to do my அரங்கேற்றம் here.
Later on, I translated into Malayalam the same composition, just Malayalam, and whenever we performed in Kerala, she used to do in Malayalam. Whenever we used to do
ஒரு லைன் பாடுங்க பார்க்கல எப்படி வரும்னது மலையாளத்துல ஜெகன்மோகன் கிருஷ்ணா.
ജഗത്തിനെ പാലിക്കുന്നവനെ
ജഗത്തിനെ പാലിക്കും ശ്രീകൃഷ്ണ ജഗത്തിനെ പാലിക്കും അവളെ ജഗത്തിനെ വർദ്ധനം ചെയ്തു.
Okay, yes.
We brought it to Ambika Bhuj. In our program, we made her to do that, and then later on she did Krishnaveni, and then Krishnaveni adopted from that, and then she taught it in Kalakshetra and all that. That is how Jagan Mohan came into the arena. So she will
one of my favorites. I love to do it.
Mine too, but the lyrics I don't know. Okay, I'll try to sing to match up to a legend like you.
Yeah.
Jagan Mohan Krishna Jagan Mohan Krishna Jagavano Palipane Krishna Jagan Mohan Krishna Jagavano Palipane Krishna Jagan Mohan Krishna Jagavano Palipane Jagan Mohan Krishna Kubagi Putanige Moleganunde Moguvagi Putaniya Moleganunde Moguvagi Putaniya Moguvagi Putaniya Moguvagi Putaniya Moleganunde Avalu Jagada Ke Binalu Kedegi Nagute Gopi Molegunde ಇಂತ ಆಟವ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿತೆಯೋ ರಂಗ ಇಂತ ಆಟವ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿತೆಯೋ ರಂಗ ಜಗನ್ಮೋಹ ನನೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಜಗವನು ಪಾಲಿಪ ನೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಜಗನ್ಮೋಹನೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಜಗನ್ಮೋಹನೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಜಗನ್ಮೋಹನೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ
Very good.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Very nice. Very nice.
That was so beautiful. Sir, நீங்க என்ன உங்களுக்கு என்ன அரங்கேற்றம் பண்ணி வைக்கிட்டோம்? டிஜிட்டல் அரங்கேற்றம் என்ன பண்ணி வைக்கிட்டோம்?
Very nice.
டிஜிட்டல் அரங்கேற்றம் சொல்றேன். டிஜிட்டல் டிஜிட்டல் மீடியா. ஜெகதோதாரணா sir favorite.
Yeah, Jagadodharana. Okay, then start with
Anoraniyana.
Anoraniyana.
Okay. Anoraniyana Mahado Mahibana Anoraniyana Mahado Mahibana Anoraniyana Mahado Mahibana Anoraniyana Mahado Mahibana Aprameyana ಆಡಿಸಿದಳು ಯಶೋದೆಯ ಅಪ್ರಮೇಯನ ಆಡಿಸಿದಳು ಜಗಬೋಧ ಆಡಿಸಿದ ಯಶೋದ ಜಗದೋದ ಆಡಿಸಿದ ಯಶೋದ ಜಗದೋದ
Wonderful.
So blessed. I don't know how I could scream, but thanks a lot.
My ambition is to perform for you.
To be shared, I want to share another incident. When we performed in Kashi couple of years ago,
Not couple, more than
one day, about 15
10
years
years ago.
10-15. Kashi on the Ganga ka God mein. Shorten it. One urchin who was in the burial ground, who came very close to me and said, Babuji, मैं बहुत गरीब आदमी हूँ. Then I thought, I don't know why what he wanted. So he just said he wanted to touch my feet, whether he was reluctant to do it. So then he said, आज तुमने मुझे अल्लाह को दिखा दिया. आज तुमने मुझे अल्लाह को दिखा दिया. I did Nandanar Charitam because he didn't know even the language. So
It's all in Tamil, Nandanar Charitam.
So even without language, our Natya could really communicate the Bhakti Rasam to even to an urchin, like just to show how great our Natya is. So Natya should be handled with very, very Bhakti, complete involvement, devotion, discipline, devotion, and dedication is very absolutely necessary for Natya. It cannot be used very casually as like an entertainment.
That was the best honor you got.
That was the best honor, I should say.
You couldn't sleep the whole night. You were just saying things. Some little like fellow coming and saying, I want to touch your feet. You showed me God today. He was a Muslim also, like Allah. He said, Allah ko dikha diya.
So this is beyond any religion.
So it's beyond religion. When you see the supreme.
Yes.
You are not.
Wonderful. And a lot of people have said they felt nice, and Narendrana says he would want to dance to your singing. Ningal Padi, one full kachari he wants to do. And we would say we would want to dance, share stage if God permits, and if we get an opportunity to, share screen or share space or share screen to record digital arangetram is happening. So somewhere we could share the same Mayday. It would be such an honor for us. And solra.
Shortly, I want to tell the viewers what are the greatest things, some of the very incidents that happening in our life. First of all, for me, the greatest thing which has happened is marrying to this great lady. Okay, that's the great. And then opportunities came on its own. My first opening with Theatre Level, then working with Pandit Ravi Shankar is a great honor for us, and working with great ballet choreographer Narendra knows Paul Hines, bringing Jungle Book into the arena of the world, and which got the best award prize in America. We got almost like an Oscar award. The ceremony was like an Oscar award, but Narendra was part of that production. That production was adjudged as the best production of the year in the Ohio State. So we got a big award for that. And the award ceremony was like something like giving Oscar award. So that is the great thing. Another thing, of course, as I said, Pandit Ravisha, working with Pandit Ravisha. And then we worked with Jacques D'Amboise, who was the greatest choreographer, New York Ballet. We produced a production with 1,000 people.
1,000 children.
It's called Chakra. And Bhartakalanjali represented also with
5 of our students performed. They were 12-year-old kids who performed along with them.
These are some of the great things. And the very important thing, when the India Festival in USSR happened, we were not featured in Moscow. But after seeing our performances all over in Georgia, the Russian government, the USSR government, what is it called?
Kultur.
Ghost concert. That is like our ICCR. After seeing our production, our performance, they said this production should be featured in Moscow in the best theater, that the Bolshoi Theater. Our government our ICCR didn't plan to have our program there, but the Russian government decided they wanted to have our show in Bolshoi Theater. So we were suddenly told that we are going to have the last performance in Bolshoi Theater in Moscow. And then, of course, we were all excited. And when we came back to Moscow, then the Moscow Bolshoi Theater was suddenly they had to close Bolshoi Theater for some repair or something like that. So they put our show in the Tchaikovsky Hall, equally important hall, Tchaikovsky Hall. We performed it there, and that was a very big publicity that we got in Russia during the USSR India Festival. That's a very, very, very heartwarming incidents in our life. So many things have happened like that. So we are very happy we are very, what to say, thank God for all the things that has befallen on us, and getting a lot of people admirers all over the world. It's a great thing. That is your blessings.
To be part of the journey to, music. We love music. It's the music which is inspiring. Just love. I love all kinds of music. I even love, of course, the famous S.P. Subramaniam, who left us recently. All his songs and different genres of music. I love music. I think you experience music. It's the music that plays, that dances. It's the music which comes out as dance. I think that's a beautiful thing. And our kind of Natya, I think, is something exquisite, out of ordinary. I mean, like this, there is nothing to equal this. I'm not talking in terms of hopping and leaping and stretching. All that fine.
I know.
It's the soul.
There's so much of spirituality in it. Yes.
We produced the same Jungle Book in 1984 in London. That was a big eye opener for the Europeans, because they never thought that Bharatnatyam, our kind of Natya, is only solo, that they can produce something like that. It was a big eye opener in the European countries when we did the Jungle Book in 1984. And I must thank my own student, Pushkala Gopal, who was instrumental in producing that for the London Arts Academy.
And all this got through our experience from Kalakshetra, and Rukmini Amma has provided all this for us. We are indebted forever for that kind of experience.
Yes, indeed, it is such a wonderful journey. You're such an iconic inspiration, people. That is what probably made Vodafone and so many other people cast you in their ads, and like that love could see. And one day I used to see you, but I don't think it could be them. But suddenly after 2-3 days, yes, it is them. They are doing. It was that shows the fun spirit and the younger. But still, அது நிறைய பேர் actually இங்க கேள்வி கேட்டிருக்கா. How did that ad happen and சொல்லுங்கன்னு சொல்லி நிறைய பேர் இங்க கேட்டிருக்கா. But because see, classical artists, you will already be framed in one genre. They will want to think that always you will be in kunjalodaye ஓடாடிட்டு இருக்கோம் வீட்டுக்குள்ள. You will never wear clothes, and mama will always be in waist and always do namaskaram. இந்த மாதிரி always கையான்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கா. People outside, whenever they see probably you in shorts or something, they will be like, oh, ivri ipdiyella panna mudiyuma. They never can think.
It is a different avatar.
But for them, that is such a nice, that shows the lively spirit and the free spirited enjoying life. That perception is always good, and that is why I said nobody can block you with saying you're an artist, so you should always behave like this. Even when you turn, you have to look like that. You're normal. Dance is there, dance is life, but then you are also individual center there.
People should know that we can also do that.
Yes.
We were very surprised when we saw it for the first time. When we saw it, we were like, wow, they look so cute.
They've recently done something for coffee called Le Vista. I don't know if you have seen it. That's a recent one. Little incidents showing our bonding.
Wow, very nice.
Just as we bond with the coffee. So it's quite interesting. If you can, see our, you can send it to them.
YouTube
So it's not just cinema stars who actually can come. I think wonderful artists like you can also come.
And it can also be the same surprise factor, like probably just not film stars, even dancing stars and Natyam stars. Natyam stars can also.
I've also, we both have acted in a movie. I mean, many years ago we did something. That's a different story. And about 2-3 years ago, I did in a movie I don't know if you
Sarvam
know.
Talamayam.
Have you heard of it? Sarvam Talamayam.
Rajiv Menon.
It's Rajiv Menon.
Okay.
We will see it.
Very
That's on YouTube.
It's all Sarvam Talamayam. Very beautiful movie.
It's
Very
about
nice.
the Mridangist.
Okay.
It's about the Mridangist and the scenario around him. And I acted as the wife of the Mridangist. Very well-known actor called Edumudi Venu, Kerala actor.
He's an ace
Extraordinary actor. So I had the chance to do a small version in it.
Not
Then-
small.
Then Sir had done something.
Just halfway
Halfway through, I don't know what's happened to it.
Dhruva Nakshatra.
It's called Dhruva Nakshatram.
It's,
With an actor called Vikram. He was the main star in it. He's done a role of a scientist who is being
Just like Abdul
abducted,
Kalam.
like Abdul Kalam, and being abducted and rescued and all that.
It's
It's halfway done. God knows what. But anyway, what I'm coming to say is, we love to do different things as well in experience, being actors and moved by incidents. It's nice to experience other things also. I think I love to do these little roles. My love to do.
Thank you, Mama, Mommy. It was wonderful talking to you. It was so.
Thank you.
Nice to share.
Thanks a lot for having us over.
Thank you, Mama, Mommy, for coming over, gracing the event, and it was so nice. So much insight into your wonderful journey, and so musical, so Natyam filled, and we are so truly blessed. And so many friends, artistic friends, Natyam friends, I would say, have also joined, and they also could see and take a sneak peek into your life. So it was wonderful, and please, thank you, thanks a lot, and Solra, this we will cherish our lives, because this has been such a wonderful 2 hours talking to you, conversing with you.
Such legends like
you. Yes. Thank you, and let me do a Charan Sparsh.
All the best to
Ashirvadam.
you.
Bharat Mata Ki Jai.
God bless
Vande
you.
Mataram. Vande
All the
Mataram.
best to you and the family and to the whole world. Thank you. May it be a better world tomorrow to live in.
Snehitare, that was Padma Vibhushan Shanta Dhananjayan and Padma Bhushan v.p.Dhananjayan and Padma Bhushan Shanta Dhananjayan having a conversation with both of us and all of you. I hope you would have enjoyed and liked
silent.
What happened?
Thanks a lot for staying on. ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ, ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ ಈಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾಳೆಯೂ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಬರ್ತೀನಿ. ವಿಶ್ವ ನೃತ್ಯ ಗಾನಭೂಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬ ಅದ್ಭುತ ಕಲಾವಿದರನ್ನ ಭೇಟಿ ಆಗ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಈ ದಿನದ ವಿಶ್ವ ನೃತ್ಯ ಗಾನಭೂಷಣವನ್ನ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. Ladies and gentlemen, today we sign off with this Vishwa Nruthya Bhushana online Facebook presentation from Vishwa Nruthya Bhushana, Facebook page of Vishwa Nruthya Bhushana. Thanks a lot for joining, and stay indoors, stay safe, fight corona ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಈ ದಿನದ ಈ ಒಂದು ಲೈವ್ ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಶುಭರಾತ್ರಿ. ನಾಳೆ ಬನ್ನಿ, ನೀವು ಬನ್ನಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮವರನ್ನು ಕರೆತನ್ನಿ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.